of your interests or ideas. And I understand we have some new people joining, so I hope that you've had a chance to look at our recording from day one and to catch yourselves up on what you missed. One of the main things we tried to do last time was for everybody to choose an idea and choose a team, because those would be ideas that you work through with your teammates for the rest of the program. And so what we'll do today at the very beginning is give you a chance to solidify your ideas and your teams. So if you go ahead to the next slide, I have an agenda there that's, yep, there we go. So that will be the first thing we do. Afterward, I think we have Utkarsh, I think is the person leading this. Yes, okay. So Utkarsh from our Northeastern team is going to lead us through how to get started using StudyCrafter. And then the rest of the time, you'll have some time to work with your teams on StudyCrafter. All right, and so that's the basic plan for today. We'll probably take a break right after Utkarsh gives us his walkthrough. And for now, what we want to do is orient you to some of the tools in Zoom, because we noticed that some of you are using your phones and it's kind of hard. The interface is sort of different than it is when you're on a laptop. And so I'm going to turn it over in just a second to Casper and his team to just give us I think it's Faye. Faye will give us an orientation to how to use, how to find all the breakout rooms that we'll be using when you're on a mobile phone. And the other thing I wanted to say was that we also noticed a couple people may not have access to a laptop at all. The thing we discovered was that you actually, to make anything in StudyCrafter, you need a laptop. It doesn't really work on a mobile device, except there are a lot of different things that you can still do in designing a game, many different roles you can still take on without needing to actually be on a laptop in StudyCrafter. And so if you're one of those people who don't have access to a laptop, don't worry about it. Just make sure that you're partnered with someone who does have a laptop, and together you can divide the roles and take on different responsibilities in conceptualizing the game and working out the details and all of that. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Faye and let him teach us how to use Zoom on a mobile phone.
Hello. Yes, yeah, thank you. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. I will go over the Midi controls quickly for computer because they are the same icons also in mobile too. In computer view, controls are, as you can see on your Zoom, mute, unmute. And if you want to share your video, start video. And for invite people, you don't need to do that for this meeting. And if you want to see other who's in the call, facilitators or your friends, you can click the participants. And also in the breakout rooms, if you want to share your computer screen, for example, if you're working with person with a computer that has a work on StudyCrafter, I will suggest to do that. So you can share your screen so everyone also can watch how is the work with StudyCrafter and also help you. And in chat, you can send private messages and also send message to everyone. You will have an option when you click the chat. And if you want to add reaction to your, if you don't want to speak up at that time and everything, if you want to add if you want to add reaction to your yes or no or others, you will see the participants, and also you will see a sidebar. You can choose from the bottom, click yes, answer yes to the instructors questions or your friends questions. And also every time you click the three dot, more reactions, you can see thumbs up, thumbs down, I'm away, I will be right back, and raise hand if you want to ask questions. And to the share screen content that we will allow sharing screen when we go to the breakout rooms. You can share your screen and choose specific tab or screen or any application on your computer. The phone controls, As you can see, the icons are very similar, and everything, if there's any other options you cannot see on your phone, always go for 3 dot, and 3 dot more will always enable you everything we just covered on the computer version. And also, if you're wondering how to join and leave breakout rooms, when we set up breakout room, you will have a pop-up like this. Host will need to invite a breakout room. You can join or later join on, and you will have an option to join breakout room on your phone, top left of your screen. You can choose which breakout room you want to join, or you just join by you're assigned to. And the most important thing in this here, when you leave breakout room, you're actually not leaving the call, you're just leaving the room. And you can also go back to the room after. When you leave the breakout room, you will be in this channel. This is the main channel, and you can go back to your breakout room anytime you want. And this is it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I hope that that was helpful, but if anyone has questions, always feel free to ask us. I know that last time some people felt like they were stuck in a breakout room because they couldn't find their way out. So if that ever happens, just chat with one of us. You can use Slack or some the Zoom chat, whatever you want, and we can help you move to the room that you want. So that's always an option. All right. Does anyone have questions right now about how to use Zoom? All right. Okay, so what we'll do, thank you, Brian. So what we'll do right now is, okay, let me share my screen. We have some breakout rooms that we've created that we'll let you choose from in just a second. Let me just share my screen, hang on. And what you'll do in the breakout room with the facilitator is choose, hang on, I can't share screens and talk at the same time. Okay,
so
never.
let me share the screen so that you can.
It's okay, I've got it up right now. I managed to do it. So we're gonna share in your breakout rooms, you'll have, okay, let me back up a second. There will be several different breakout rooms to choose from. And they're basically named by the theme that the questions that we started to generate last time fit under. And so there'll be, there's a room called Gender Perceptions in the Workplace, Career Decisions, Entrepreneurship, School Friendships, Personal Relationships, Parent-Child Relationships, and then there's another room, okay? And so we're gonna ask you once we open the breakout rooms to choose where you'd like to be, just like what are you broadly interested in. And in that room, you'll be joined by a bunch of other people who are also interested in similar questions. And what we've done is we've used some of our discussions that we've had with you and the interest that you've already told us about, and we created some questions that could be starting points for your own games. All right. And so in your breakout rooms, look through these questions. Think about, does any one of them interest you? Is there a new question under this category that this inspired you to come up with? You can add it to this list. By the end of your breakout room, we'd love for you to add your name somewhere that you feel most interested in. So if you love this question, then you would just take a column and just add your name, okay? And by the end of our 20 minutes in the breakout room, we're gonna use the votes that you've just given here in your breakout rooms to create teams for you so that you'll be joined with people who have similar interests, similar questions that you'd like to pursue. All right. And I guess what you'd like to talk about in these breakout rooms about these questions would just be like, does this make you curious? What could be a potential study crafter game that you could make? Does that feel interesting to you? If it like spurs a different kind of question, then in what ways can you make it more specific? And then ultimately just come away with like, I really love this question and I want to think about it more for the next couple weeks. Does that make sense, everyone? You could try your new Zoom reactions and give me a thumbs up, or you can just say yes in the chat. And I just want to encourage you to not feel constrained to these questions. they're really just here to spur some ideas. And if you, I have another category, if there's an idea you already have that doesn't fit in these categories, you can join that team. And then we can think together about what your questions might be. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to open the breakout rooms. It looks like many people think this makes sense. And so we'll try it out and then see if that's true. So I'm opening the breakout rooms. Let me just stop sharing though. And facilitators, if you haven't already claimed a room, then please just try to distribute yourselves in a way that there's no empty room or, you know, participants with no facilitators. And so I'll close these at like a little past 10 to the hour. Does that sound about right? I might check in on you with facilitators on Slack to see if you need more time. I realized I didn't share this link. Let me share it in Slack so that everyone has it.
And it's also here on Zoom.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And if anyone needs help getting to a room, again, just let us know. We can move you manually there. By the way, I see a lot of people are still here. If you're like, I don't know which room I want to commit to, it's okay to change rooms also if you decide that you don't like the discussion in the first few minutes.
And if you're just coming in, where you can look into the breakout room, select the topic that interests you and join that room. So that's what we're doing right now. Facilitators there will be at least one facilitator there to guide you. We still have some of you not joined. If you have questions, Amanda, readers, Okpemipo, Omotola, Daisy.
Maybe we could ask one-on-one which room they want to go into, and
Yeah. And we can put you in that room. So if you know which room you want to go into, can you just send it on chat? Send it on chat so that we can put you in that room.
Faye, can you go to personal relationships? I can move you there.
Okay. I can also do parent-child because I did it last week. I was waiting to people to join which room is more empty. I will about to join that, but you want me to join personal relationship?
Yeah, because I don't see a facilitator there.
Okay.
I can put you there.
We still have participants that have not joined room. Maybe you can just send a chat to say not sure so that we know you are still thinking. Or if you already know what room you want to join.
Mhm. Another thing
can-
we could do is just, we could just put you in a room and then you can also just talk about whatever you want. You don't have to be
Yeah.
constrained to
Yeah.
the category. So maybe,
And if
how
you
about we do that? How we just distribute people?
and if you don't
Um,
like that conversation, you can switch to another room.
Exactly. So let's see, we could put someone in personal relationships. It looks like another candidate might be gender perceptions in the workplace. Okay, I'm going to start randomly putting people places, okay? So if you don't like it, let us know. Okay, personal relationships.
Okay, Emmanuel and few friends already chosen. So, okay, Emmanuel already joined a room. Amanda wants to be in education. So
Maybe
Chiamanda.
the ones who have already chosen, we can put them in other and they can continue the conversation.
That's a good idea.
Education, okay.
Yeah.
I chose school and friendships for those ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, it looks like Emmanuel has a team already. Amanda,
Yeah.
and a lot of other people, education. So maybe they can be in the other category, the other group. Oh, I see they're not there anymore. Okay. Okay, I think I assigned everyone to a room. Oh, there's nobody really in gender perceptions though. Maybe people moved on their own.
Yeah, I just came from that one. I was trying to see what happened. I was like, there's nobody in here.
Did anybody join at all? Or with,
No.
no, not at all. Okay, I started randomly putting people in places, and so maybe I missed that group.
We might need more than one facilitator for
Yeah,
school
I
and
think
friendship.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, for devs.
Maybe Olasukomi is an education specialist.
Okay, I can join education.
Yeah.
The education one could also be, I can see questions in the career decisions category overlapping.
Yeah.
Israel, do you want to be in career decisions or do you want to be in the school and friendships one, you think? Because that both of them seem pretty education related.
We have only facilitators in parent-child relationships.
Only facilitators there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. It's because no one's a parent yet. They don't care. Too young. Okay. All right, everyone's assigned, but if they're not there, it probably means they haven't accepted the invitation.
And I think entrepreneurship has mostly facilitators.
Entrepreneurship. Yeah. Oh, there's one person. one.
She's
Yeah.
also a facilitator.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah. Career decision. We have, okay, we have Jingle there. Maybe we can add one more.
It's just that I've assigned everybody now.
Okay.
So everyone, all the students have a room. And so we could ask the facilitators to go to rooms that are populated with students now.
Mhm.
Firdaus, can you hear me? Are you able to find the, oh, never mind.
Okay, that's everyone.
I think everyone's there. So now we could just find a place. Or I'm
Okay.
thinking of asking people, maybe we can like drop into the rooms that are all facilitators and ask them to spread out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was in the room with Emmanuel, so I was just telling him that I was going to hop back in here and make sure everyone is in a room, and then we can kind of split off and go into rooms that have a lot of people.
Perfect. That sounds great.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Before
Okay.
we hop around, because the timing is slightly off.
Yeah.
Do we want to start with study crafter at 9, or when is it time that we decide people need to move on?
Is that all right if we start at 9, or do you think that's going to be tight?
No, I mean we'll do what's necessary, but I think we shouldn't start earlier than 9. I think people need some time to
Yeah,
discuss.
That's right.
good point. Okay.
But what do we do? What do we do after 9? Do we just push people into groups? I mean, we just need to force them to be in groups, I guess.
I think so. Yeah. And I think I'm hoping people will put their names somewhere. And if the questions seem similar enough, even though they voted on different things, we'll just smush them together.
Okay, so what we maybe can do is we can hop around to the different groups, maybe prior to 9, to see if we can have names on the sheet that people are part of groups. So at least we have one group that we know of.
Mhm.
But then, if we have others, so that we know, okay, these are the people that are forming groups on this topic, etc., etc.
You know what we can do right now is, because everyone is in a breakout room, how about we make a list of these people? So if they like
Yeah.
don't put their name down for some reason.
Yeah, that might be a good way. Because you had that spreadsheet with the different groups, or was that the same spreadsheet?
It's the same one. It's just on the first worksheet.
Okay.
Of the same
So there
spreadsheet.
was already one team, right, with the names, so we could put that in.
I don't see any team. Am I looking?
No,
I don't-
they said that we're a team.
Oh,
So
they put it in the chat. Yeah, you're right.
put it
Except I
in,
don't
yeah.
see, they didn't fill out the break.
Yeah, me, Amanda, yeah, I can choose an education. So that was Emmanuel. I can put that in.
Thank you. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll start making a list of the people who are in the breakout rooms. Where should I put that?
I'll just.
Did you say entrepreneurship has only facilitators, Yatunde?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Audinola is a facilitator. Okay.
Facilitator, yes.
Okay,
A
so they should
student
go.
just coming in now. Faith is a student. I just admitted that, so she needs to get into a room.
Okay. Bounce. All right. So does anyone have questions at this point about the teams or like the process before we go into a tour of Study Crafter? You can let me know in the chat, yes or no. All right, I realize some people joined a little late, and so you didn't get to have much discussion, but we will make all of these documents available so you can have some time on your own to look over the question. Some people are asking the maximum number of participants in a group. I think ultimately something like 3 would be ideal. I know some people, you're like 5 people and you're probably good friends and you want to work together, and that's totally fine at this point. Again, you might decide later on as you get started that actually you have 2 different ideas and you want to pursue them separately. So just keep that in mind. If you're fine working with 5 people, maybe you work really well together, that might still be okay. And yes, Jingyu is letting us know if you want to join any affinity group right now and you didn't get a chance to get your vote in, just let us know and we can put you there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to the Study Crafter team, to the Northeastern Study Crafter team, to guide us along.
Okay, I guess we're finally going to talk about making some games. Let me share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. So first of all, Study Crafter is the tool we'll be using to constructing your game and your game design ideas into something playable. Everybody, studycrafter.com is where you would need to go to actually play this. If you have a laptop, feel free to go to the website and open it up and see what's it about as I explain some things. So this is the main website. Once you come here, you can click on Create or Try Study Crafter to go to the actual application. It takes a little while to load up, but once it opens up, you'll see a screen, something like this. You can maximize it by clicking on this button. It's pretty small for me, so I'm going to maximize it. And you get this screen. So currently, if you don't have any projects, this screen will come up as blank. I have a few projects that I've worked on before, so they are listed here. But you can create a new project and start it up as I'm doing for myself as well here. So I'll just, I can add a name to a project and create a project. Once a project is created, it will show up on your tab. So I created a GaSI project, so my tab, it shows up on my tab over here. What we would be showcasing right now is like how the project works. The project is divided into like a couple of different parts. The first part being layout, the second being descriptor, and finally being the play button. The layout and descriptor are where you actually develop your game. And so we'll be focusing on those 2 aspects the most today. So once you open up your project by clicking on the tab from before, so like this is the tab, and once you click on it, you'll see this screen. This screen is where you decide a scene. Study Crafter project is made up of multiple scenes, and each scene is controlled by the layout and descriptor, as I mentioned before. So to start working on a project, let's create one scene for the game. Let's create scene 1. Once you create a Study Crafter scene, you'll see a screen like this. This is basically where you place objects and other art assets into your game so that it shows up. This is basically the front-facing view of your game. Anything that you see on this screen is what your players will be seeing for your game. When you click on the left side panel, you have 3 different options. You have background, you have like object assets, and you have characters. So let's decide what the background is going to be for this scene. We have many options here that you can select from. It takes a little while to load sometimes. So let's pick an object. Let's do the park here. So you can like change the object background, or you can like do a living room, you can do a kitchen, but I'm gonna stick with the park. And let's add a few characters to this scene as well. You have many characters to choose from. Some of them are standing, some of them are sitting, some of them are close-up characters like this. However, you can decide what the scene should look like. Like if I put this guy in this scene, it will be a different kind of game. I want a standing character to be in my game, so I'll go through the list and pick one. How about this? Once you open up a character, you can actually control your character by clicking on this tab to your right. Once you do this, you have other options to change your character, like this one flips it horizontally, this one vertically, but don't flip them vertically, that would be weird. And you can control other aspects as well. So let's give him a buddy as well. Controlling character isn't only limited to like your options here. You can also increase and decrease the size. For example, you can use this button to change the size of your character, or you can use this button to like rotate your character as well. If you're making your username for CityCrafter, you can put down whatever name you like. You don't have to use your real name. I don't think so. Okay, back to the CityCrafter scene. So I'll just quickly create a scene, which I think I can use to explain. So I have two characters here. We can also add some more assets here. There's like custom assets. You have like different options you can select from as well. But let's put down a cat, a better looking cat. Again, some asset sizes are pretty big, so you can like control it by clicking on this button. And once you feel you're comfortable with the number of assets in your scene, like what your people will see, you can go into your scripter, which is the second part of a scene, to actually control what these characters do. So if I go into my scripter scene, we'll load up this screen, which kind of looks empty at the moment, but you have a start node. The StudyCrafter scripter is based on a visual scripting language, which basically means instead of coding in your game, you use pre-generated nodes to give different actions to objects within your layout scene. So a node will look something like this. This is the start node. And if you right click, you can select a multiple number of nodes, which you can use to give different actions, dialogues, or other player choices, whichever you want. So let's start this by creating a dialogue. If you create a dialogue node like this, you can connect it to the start node. First of all, everything in the scripter needs to be connected to the start node for it to function. So how visual scripting language works is, let me add a secondary thing too. So I have two nodes here. So how the visual scripting language works is that the information flows from one node to the next. So the start is where everything begins, but then anything connected after it would flow accordingly. So after start, dialogue would trigger, and after dialogue, action would trigger. So always follow this line to figure out what actions are happening in the game. So to see how my game works, I'll add a dialogue to one of the characters in the game. So I put down 4 different things into the layout scene, which was background, a male character, a female character, and a cat. So that appears in my list for dialogue. I will select one of them, and I can give that character a dialogue. And once this dialogue happens, an action will occur, and I can give that action to one of these objects as well. So you can like click on these different tabs to select from different actions. Let's do a flip for the female character after hearing hello. And let's see what this looks like. So this is a basic action, like very simple between these objects that we put into the game scene. So once the game starts, the male character says hello. And once I click, you can see the female character flips as we decided in the scripter. So that was like a very basic action between like different characters that we put into the screen. Just to make sure everybody is caught up, is everybody on the Study Crafter website now, or are people still making up their accounts? Okay. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything, please put them in chat. Either me or someone else will address them. Okay, so let's try to do something more to this scene. Back to the scripter. So again, the scripter is where you create actions for your game. And to create actions, you have like many different choices. I showed you two different choices. This was dialogue and action. Create or you should click on create. Create is how you get to this screen. This is the button that everybody needs to click on, by the way, to get to the Study Crafter. Okay, let's look at some other scripter nodes to like figure out what else we can do. So we did dialogue on action, which are like two important things that can occur. But there's also something very important called player choice. Player choice is something that shows up into the game. So let's see how this would work. So say I want to give a choice after the male character says hello. So I would want to put this player choice in between action and dialogue. To do that, you need to like delete this line between these two nodes. So first you right click on the line and the connection between them breaks. You can place this between them. Excuse me. By connecting the ends of these nodes like this. Left click on the circle button and drag it to the other circle to the left side of the player choice. So player choice is pretty simple. It gives you multiple choices to pick for. So like it has different options as well, but let's go with simple choice right now. I'll give the female character two options, either to say hello or to say bye. And if we see bye, this action will occur. I will add a second action, which hello does. And I will select another flip, but this will be a vertical one. So let's see what it looks like. So again, you can click on play to see what it looks like. And then once you click, you'll get multiple options. Oh, this isn't on the screen. Oh. If I click buy, this action occurs. But if I start again from the beginning and click on the other option, how do I hide that? Excuse me, 1 second. There we go. If I click on the hello option, the other flip option occurs. So player choice is a good way to give different action opportunities to your characters in the game. So I gave them two different options and different things occurred based on what the player picked. Let's look at some other options. We have similar to player choice called branch. Branching is where the actual like game logic comes in. This is a simple if-else statement. If anybody has done programming in the group, they would know. It's similar to that. For example, if I enter something for the branch, there's a chance of either this thing happening or this thing happening. So for example, if the player selects buy and this action occurs, then I can select a random value here. So it can either be if and else, or it can be random. I can select a random value, and then two different options can occur as well. Give two different dialogues. And this is like a completely random selection. And like that can happen completely randomly, and that would be different every time you play the game. But if you didn't want to do random and you wanted to do regular if and else, you would need to select a statement here that would be considered a different kind of logic that would result in a true or false. And to decide that, we would need to give different variables to the game, which would be updated based on how your game functions. For example, you would need to create on the top right a scripting variable. So there are a couple options over here, but what the top right table does is basically gives you a variable list of different variables you can create, as well as the objects that you have in your screen. So we had like 4 objects they showcase over here. We got scripting variables and research variables. Do not worry about the research variables because we are not focusing on that right now, but the scripting variables is what you want to create. If you click on create scripting variable, you would get this screen. And from here, you can actually create a new variable. So I'm going to create a variable called decision. And this is going to be an integer, or it could be a Boolean, or it could be a string. These things basically mean that a Boolean means it's going to be a true or false variable. String means it's going to have some kind of text in it. Integer is going to be a number. And floating is going to be a decimal point number. So if I select string, initial value needs to be like something that would be a string. And this, after setting this up, I can click on set and a variable has been created, which showcase over here in scripting variable because that's where I created it. So let's update this to make this decision based on a variable. Again, I will like delete some connections to like make sense of this. I will delete the connection between action and branch. And instead, I will add, oops. I will add a variable over here. So I right click again on the background and select from this list the set variable node. The set variable node is used to basically make changes to a variable that you've already created. So I will connect this to this. And then in my scripting variable, I'm going to click on it and drag that over here. The variable name has been put into this tab, and I'm going to add a new value to the variable. So once this happens, the decision variable is going to turn into yes. And if this happens, the decision variable is going to be no. And now I can connect both the set variables to the branch. So instead of having this branch be connected to just a singular one to trigger this, both of the actions lead to the same branch. So as you can see, there's like sort of a tree kind of like tree-like graph beginning to be created here. The game starts here, a dialogue happens, a player choice, 2 actions, and the actions set the variable in different ways, and then they branch back to a singular node, which makes a decision again and gives you two different outputs. So once you start making like decisions for your game, how it should work and different actions it would take, you would start to see like a branching graph being created like this. And let's make sure that this works like I intended to. The decision value is, the decision variable is what needs to be over here to make the decision, right? So let's change this up. So currently it said true, but I'm going to make the variable decide what the answer is. So if we're going to put down the decision variable again, drag and drop it over here, and then we're going to give it a simple logic. Equals to yes. So if we come to the branch and if decision equals to yes, then this thing happens. If decision is not yes, then this thing happens. That's the basics of like an if else argument, which the branch does. So again, let's see what this looks like in gameplay. The first character says hello. I get two options. And I say hello. Floating thing happens. And then not hello. So as you can see, I plugged the hello option, and then the flip happened, but the decision was no. So when it came to branch, it checked if decision is yes or not. And since it was no, it didn't go here. It went here instead and said not hello in the end. And this is like a basic trajectory of how a game goes. So you build on top of this over and over and over again, and you get like very intricate and detailed scenarios. We have other options here as well to like make different things. We have sound. I don't think I can share my sound in here, but you can like do the same thing with sound. You can play a sound effect, but rather than doing that, okay, let's do that anyways. Let's do two different sounds actually. We'll create two different sounds and then we will end the scene. So end scene basically means the scene that we've been working on, it's done. We've done everything that we wanted to do and we want to end it. So once a sound effect plays, word one, I'm going to select two different sound effects from between the lists. And then end scene. So let's see how this plays out real quick. And did everyone hear the sound? Well, anyways,
you probably didn't share your sound when you were sharing the
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. I thought that was the case. Okay, but the end scene happened. So basically now we're in the end scene again. So this, when this node triggers, the experiment is completed would occur unless you move to a different scene. So let's see what that means because we're going to be creating a new scene. So to go back to the scene tab, you click overview and you come back to here. This is the scene that we worked on right now, the script that we created for that simple interaction. And now we're going to create a new scene of what happens after the scene occurs. So Oops, I think I went too fast. But there's this option over here to add new scenes. I can click on it to like create a new one. So once I did, it opens up a new scene for me. So as you can see, I have 3 new scenes now because I clicked on it twice after this one. So let's work on scene 2 a little bit, give this a little structure as well. Sorry, my internet's a little slow. I'll do this again. I will pick from there a character that I had before, put that here. Ooh, and I will also put down a cat, because why not? Going back to descriptor. I'm going to do this very simple. I'll just add a simple dialogue. It says, hello, cat. And then I'll end the scene because I don't want to make this too complicated. But this is my second scene. But the thing that I wanted to showcase most importantly was this tab down here. Once you have multiple scenes in your game, they are showcased at the bottom of your screen. So whenever you drag your mouse down to this icon here, you will see the number of scenes that you have. And you can jump to these screens by clicking on it. So I want to go back to the scene 1. I click on it. And I'm back over here. So I created this entire interaction. And at the next scene, it ended, correct? But now that we have multiple scenes, I can select if I want to transition from this scene to the next scene once it ends. So I click on scene 2. And give a transition text. And once this thing happens, basically we'll move from scene 1 to scene 2 when the game is being played. So let's look at it in play. Hello. Bye. Oh no, hello. And then the scene transitions to back at home. And now when the end scene occurs, it gives you the experiment completed screen because the end scene here is none. So this is the basic flow of how a simple study crafter game progresses. There are a few things in the game that are a bit more advanced, such as like making events and functions. We can talk about these too. However, just to confirm, how much time do I have for the presentation left?
Just take 5 more minutes max, Ukresh.
Okay, then instead of like going into the advanced section, I'll give you a good few tips to like use StudyCraft instead. So something for the descriptor, first of all. If you wanted to like create a node, like you created sound node, you can always duplicate it by clicking on Control D. Oops. Sorry, Control C and Control V. So like copy paste it. You can like maximize, minimize a node by clicking on this button over here. This is super helpful when you have too many nodes and it gets super busy on the screen. You can select multiple nodes at the same time by clicking on Shift and then left click your mouse and drag. So this box appears and then you can select multiple boxes. I can move this around together. Once multiple things are selected, they can be moved. And you can copy paste multiple things at the same time if they're selected. And you see they're copied as is. Delete this. Something over here is like the advances to next node. Okay, so on here, this is selected on click by default. What this means is once this action occurs, you will not move to the next node until a mouse click happens on the play. So if I change this to when completed or like instantly, it basically means when this action occurs, when it is completed, you move to the next one. or when this node happens, you just move to the next one. You can pick either of them if you don't want to wait for a click. And this is available on mostly all options here. As you can see on sound as well. And you can play around with these options to like get the result that you want. Back on the layout scene, again, you can like select multiple objects as well. Shift and left click to like select multiple things, move it around. You can change their options from here. There's a lot of things to do, which I would suggest you to like pick multiple options. Like you can like right click on an object to get different objects that you can do with it. You can hide it. You can like bring it back. So the different things that Studycrafter allows you to do, you will like learn and get to know them if you like play around and explore these options yourself, because there's many things. But what I've showcased right now are the very basics of it. So I hope this helps you to like start working on things and learning things yourself. Okay, any questions?
Okay, I have a question. Can you also upload your own pictures into Studycrafter?
That's a very good question. Thanks for the reminder, Casper. Yes, this asset section that I showcased you, it has different things you can select from, and something here is called custom. Custom basically means images that you've uploaded to Studycrafter yourself. So these are images that you created. So you can upload images to Studycrafter and click on them to like get your own images here. How to do this is a different thing. So you would not do this from the Create tab. Rather, you would need to go to your profile. Oops. Projects, and then upload. So to recap how to upload your own images to Studycrafter, you need to go to profile and you'll see this screen. And then from your profile screen, you can select your projects, and your project screen, you'll see these options, and the rightmost option is upload. You click on it and you'll see the upload custom images option, and you can select an image and upload it from here. So I don't have any images, but yeah, so select one and you can upload it. I see a question. How does a character move or glide? Oh, that's a good question. Let me showcase that real quick as well. So for that, you need to go into Create. So Studycrafter is split into like the Create option and the Explore option. What we've been looking at is Create right now. So I'll answer this question real quick, and then I can show you something about Explore as well. Oops. Maximize this because it's too small. So action node is what you want to like make the character glide. Instead of like flipping, I would do this to move or move by, whichever. Let's say I'll do move by. So now when action occurs, the female character moves instead. So hello. And you can see the character moves a little bit. So action is the node that you need if you want something physically changing to a character or asset in the game. I think Faye just shared a link to tutorial videos for Studycrafter in the chat. That's a very helpful tool. Feel free to like look at different videos to like learn about what nodes do. But each node has like their own capabilities, but action is the one you want for physical changes to the game. This was a Create tab. I will also like, just before ending my presentation, just really quick, you saw the Profile tab, but there's also the Explore tab, which I forgot to showcase. Once you create a game, a project in your Create option, you can also like see that project in Explore tab. like I created GSA. It's available on Explore now. So if I click on it, you can see this game here. So what this basically means, anything that you create is available to be explored by anyone else. We will be compiling all of your games that you created in their own little tag, and they will be grouped together. But it is playable by anyone else as you're creating it. Okay, I guess that was the basics of Study Crafter. If anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask. And the YouTube link that's in the chat right now, make sure to check that out as well if you want to learn more about different nodes and things that Study Crafter can do.
Because can you pull up the themes and topics? Now you're already sharing your screen.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, you want to increase probably.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
You probably want to increase the size. It's very small.
Oh, is it very small? I'm sorry.
Or you can zoom in.
Zoom in, like it's 100%. You could probably put it higher.
Zoom in. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, great. So so we started putting people into groups based on what we observed, and some of you may have communicated, and you may have put your teams in there. What's important is that each group we assigned a Study Crafter username and a password. The password is the same for all the groups, so you can see that here, and that you can use to log into Study Crafter. You can continue to work also on your personal accounts to play around with it, but we suggest that you use these accounts to work on the Study Crafter project as part of this effort, because there can only be one user at a time working on Study Crafter at the same time. And in this way, it also allows us as a Northeastern team to help you out if there's any problems or issues. We can easily log in and see what's going on and help you out with your project. So that does mean that there's one account, you can share that, so different people can work on it on different times, but you just can't simply work on it at the same time. Now, what you can also do, and maybe that you still want to showcase, of course, is that you can clone or copy the project. So if you have your personal account, you can copy the project and on your own account and play with it further. So can you show that how that works?
Yeah. So to clone someone else's game, so you need to go to the Explore tab again and find their game over there. So I went to Explore and found my GSA game. Something important about this, make sure your game's name is recognizable so that you can find it very quickly. But once you find your game, you'll have different options over here. There's one option called Remix, which basically means it copies the game to your account. So if it's someone else's game and you click on Remix, you get this little message called Project Added to Your Library. So basically it means the game has been copied and put into your library. So if I go to Create now, you'll see you see another tab that says copy of GSA or something.
Yeah, and in that way,
Remix.
Yeah, Remix. And in that way, you could basically also play around with it and work on it yourself, if you want to do that. But we suggest to just work on the accounts that we have given you for each of the teams. And then there's a question, Camila Yatunde, if everybody is now in a team based on the spreadsheet, or if there's still people trying to figure out a team or a topic.
I was lumping people together based on questions that seem similar, just so that there's enough people in each team. And so it looks like we have 4. And again, these are just your initial affinity teams. You can decide to break up into smaller teams afterward. But just to get started, there are these 4 here. And I guess after a short break, we'll have some breakout rooms where you can join your affinity group and start to work and explore Steadycrafter with some facilitator help, right?
Yep, that sounds good. So we'll take.
And so,
Yeah, go ahead. You didn't.
okay, so for each of those group, education, gender, do we also check with them to see if all of them are actually interested in working as a team, or so that we can know how many accounts to hand out to them? I mean, like, for example, where you have 5 people, are they really working as a team, or are they doing different projects, and do they want different accounts?
Yeah, and I think we'll let that emerge over time, because I think once you get started, some more
Yeah.
specific ideas will come. And then you should let us know if you've decided at any point to break up into a group, and we can give you a new account at that point for your own, for your new team.
Okay, so we're returning what in 7 minutes, so at 10, and then we'll create 4 breakout rooms that you can continue to work on your topic and also play around with Steadycrafter. Okay.
And if your team decides to work beyond the normal usual time, Slack also has a facility that enables you to have your own meeting inside Slack. So you can have like group yourself together in Slack and have like video, share your screen and things like that. And we already shared a link to like a Slack tutorial that can help you to see how you can do all these things. So like you can decide on your group that you want to work tomorrow or next or Monday, Tuesday, just before the next meeting, so that you don't have to be on this training for you to work on your project. That will enable you to speed up on the project and finish it on time.
Okay, so break time. And we'll come back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, coffee time.
Yes. See you all later.
Okay, so you can come and post your screenshots or questions, and there are facilitators here. There are Steadycrafter experts here that can help you out. They have been added. We have Faye, we have Caspar Hatterfield, we have Old Crash. They are all, and Masha. They are all Steadycrafter Northeastern team, and they know about the game. So for each group, just check it out to make sure that you have been added to your group. For education, we have the list of people that have been added on the screen here. And you can see that all of us facilitators and Camilla is here, Caspar, and the Steadycrafter team, they are all here. So, but it's up to you to decide how you want to meet, because I know you have, you will have structure and work to do during the week. So, and if you're also working individually, that will be, if you're working individually, you can also, you don't have to be on Zoom. You can just keep on doing your work and always come back to Slack to share with your team if you have questions. So we have all the teams represented here. And this is where you will be doing most of the things for the next few days until we meet again officially. If you have any question, you can post it now. If you have any question, you can share it now.
Yeah, that's pretty soup. Does it ever work?
All right. I guess I've covered everything. So someone needs to be muted. Okay, there is a question from Okwe Mipo. The dialogue, can it be shifted? You can share that on Slack and or maybe you can share your screen in your team or the dialogue. And that question is for Study Crafter. Okrash, do you want to answer, or Casper?
Sure. That's a good question. The dialogue itself cannot be shifted. So when you select which person is talking in the dialogue option, or the dialogue will automatically point to them. So that's the only way to like change or rather shift the dialogue, change its speaker.
Or you can shift the character. Maybe you can move the character to a different position if you feel the dialogue is not connecting the way you want it to be.
Yes, you can do that as well.
Yeah, and you can also change the dialogue if that's what you mean by shifting. So if you want to change what's being said under particular circumstances, you can do that too, or you can make it random. That is also something you can do.
Okay, so if you wish to go back to your room, so keep working. Like I said, the Zoom will be open and left open. I don't know how much time Zoom does. Does anyone have idea? Before, I think after 45 minutes of no activity, it locks you out.
No, there needs to be a host, I think. So if the host leaves, I'm not sure if it
assign someone to be a host, I think, right? And so maybe we'll just assign someone to be a host, and then before you decide to leave, make sure you assign someone else who's still.
Yeah, I don't have the intention of leaving. I don't have another meeting, at least not on Zoom for this weekend. So
you're staying here the whole weekend, Yatunde?
No, I mean as a ghost. I mean as a ghost, but at least let's say for the next, right now it's 4 p.m. Nigeria, right? So we can leave it for the next 1 hour. Or maybe let's check what people are thinking. Do you want to just keep working on Zoom, or you want to create your own Zoom or video?